Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Avoiding Broke podcast with me, Jermaine.
And me, Leanne.
So this week we are looking at a part 2 of how to be more efficient with money. So last week we covered how to get efficiency in our essential spend. This week we're going to look at some examples of discretionary spend. Leanne's going to be the question master.
Yeah.
I'm going to be fielding the questions in the first instance, and we're going to look and see if we can come up with some good ideas. Leanne, anything to add?
I say that sounds great to me how you've set that out. Just a reminder that this topic has actually come from one of our listeners who wanted us to talk about these topics. So I would say if there is anything that you'd like us to cover, then do let us know, because we want to make great content that you're going to really benefit from.
That's a really good shout. So the easiest ways to get in touch with us, guys, anyone who's listening on the podcast, so Apple, Google or whatever, you can find us on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. All the addresses are Avoiding Broke. And anyone who's listening on YouTube, just drop your comments in the box below and we'll get to you ASAP.
So should we start?
Good, let's go.
Let's go for it. Okay, so as Jermaine said, we're going to be talking about the discretionary expenses in this podcast. And so the first one is paid for TV services.
Cancel it. There you go. Easy.
Okay, that was very quick.
Well, of course.
I think it's true. There are so many of them now, aren't there? Lots of different ones, and especially if you don't use them, then definitely cancel.
I wouldn't even qualify it like that. All right, so if we're talking about money efficiency, there are different types of efficiency you want to get. Some people want to save a little bit of money here and there. Some people have got a bigger goal. My view is very simple. If you are working towards something, however you want to describe it, you've got to choose what your priorities are. And the reality is that anybody who is making money or who has made money, they did not have much time to watch TV. So you want to talk about paid for TV? Get rid of it.
Okay.
Efficient.
that was very clear.
What's next?
Paid for delivery services.
Cancel it.
Okay. For the same reasons as what you said for paid for TV?
Okay, look. So the most common paid for delivery services I'm aware of relate to things like Amazon, online shopping, and then you might have it for like your grocery shopping, your food shopping.
Yes.
Right? So of course, if you've got it for your food shopping, fine, no issue, right? I completely get it, particularly at this kind of time. When you have got something like paid for delivery for your Amazon, I think you've got to really ask the question. I personally, if I really want efficiency, would cancel and give myself less temptation to spend. But I can see if you choose to keep it, you get, say, for example, lots of different services. Like you also get like Amazon TV, that kind of stuff.
Yes.
So you might want to keep it. It kind of and it gives you a little bit of entertainment alongside the practical delivery stuff. But if we're talking efficiency, get rid of it.
Okay.
You seem shocked by how I don't even know what the word is, by just how willing I am to get rid of these things.
I don't think it's shock. I think it's just I'm pleased that there are such clear views that we have on.
I'm always clear. You know me. I'm 100% clear all the time.
Very clear.
Well, let's go then.
Okay. Next one is ad hoc shopping trips.
Stop going shopping.
I guess that's true, because if we're not talking about online shopping here, we're talking about going out shopping, then go and do something else.
Look, when we talk about money, when you want to be efficient, it is so important to realise that everybody leaks money when they go out and have a chance to spend it.
Yes.
It doesn't matter who you are. You don't think you're going to get much, but you do leak money. Go on. Sorry.
No, I was going to say I think one of the things that springs to my head on the ad hoc shopping trips is that sometimes when you go out and do those things, it actually turns into a much bigger thing than you expected, because you get drawn into stopping for lunch or having a coffee or something like that. So you may actually spend more money than you had intended to.
100%. And look, my view is very simple. If we want to be really clear about efficiency, we have to have a start point that says when we put ourselves in the way of temptation, we will make bad decisions. So the goal is to be less tempted. Because it's not just about whether or not you go out shopping. It's also about, for example, how you spend your money. So are you spending cash that you have and you can afford to spend it? Or are you spending on a credit card? All of a sudden, that coffee or that new top or whatever it may be, if that's going to go on a credit card, you are setting yourself up for real failure if you can't afford to pay it off. It's the number one way to go broke, is to accumulate bad quality debt that you can't pay off.
It's so true.
So don't do it. Stay at home.
I think the really good point you mentioned there was it's temptation, so just remove that temptation.
100%.
Okay.
Keep going.
I'm clear with that. Okay. The next one, eating and drinking out.
Stop eating and drinking out. You see how easy this is when I'm doing this?
It's just so easy. We should do this more often.
Yeah, of course, right? So again, it's the same point as before. You leak money. There's no good positive return on it. it's just unnecessary spend. And if you really want to eat, or if you really want the feeling of like a takeaway, you can go online and easily Google takeaway fish and chips, takeaway burger, and you can find a recipe to make it at home. Just stop doing it. Literally, stop doing it straight away.
It's so true. I'm sure there are lots of cookbooks out there that are like fakeaways. I think that's what the term is.
I think it's fakeaways, but even if there aren't, I'm not being funny. If you want to start accumulating wealth, and if you want to start learning the good, positive habits of people who have wealth, straight away, I'm telling you for free, stop eating out. Done.
Next one, no. Gym membership.
Cancel it. I know health and fitness is massively important, and for a lot of people, a gym is a super, super important commitment. Look, I think you can easily find alternatives, right? If it's all about staying fit, you can go running, you can do bodyweight exercises, you can buy a single kettlebell, and you can do kettlebell workouts that will work your entire body.
Yes.
Okay, so it really depends how serious you are. My view on all of these things is when you're building the habits of a wealthy person, and I certainly know that when we were doing the core habit building work that we needed to have as our foundation, we cut out everything.
We did.
Because those are the moves that you've got to make. Wealthy people don't lack discipline. Wealthy people are massively disciplined, and you are easily able to understand short-term pleasure, long-term gain, and we pursue long-term gain. We don't need the short-term pleasure.
No, it's so true. And I think you've hit a really important point there, which is about the habit building and the learning that you do when you actually undertake these activities like cutting.
It's the key. When you talk about things like money mindset and the mindset of the wealthy people, this is the stuff that we do.
It's so true.
Let's go.
Okay, next one, car finance.
Get rid of it. Sell the car. Easy decision. Car finance, guys, is quite simply the absolute worst type of credit you can have, because a car is you've got this funny term, depreciating asset. Car is not a depreciating asset. I don't even understand that. Car is a liability. Asset puts money into your pocket. A liability takes money out.
Yes.
A car is a liability, and if you buy a new car, it loses significant value in the first year the minute you drive it off. Okay, and when you look at car finance is basically encouraging you to take on insanely expensive debt over a long period of time. And there is a reason that car dealers get paid massive, massive bonuses for selling more finance than they do if you go in and pay cash.
It's very true.
Right? So the reason that I sleep easily is because I'm not paying a car finance payment every month, because you're buying a used car so that it's depreciated already, and you're buying it in money you have. So no one's chasing to see if you can afford it every month.
Yeah.
The key thing, guys, that I will share with you is when you want to think about whether you can afford a car, it's not, can I afford the car payment every month, assuming everything is perfect in my life? It's, can you afford the car right there and then? And if you can't afford the car, so get rid of it. Sell the car.
Sell the car.
Anything to add?
Clear. I don't think so. I think you've covered everything that I would have wanted to cover on the car.
Yeah, because I'm talking so much, huh? Let's keep going.
No change there then.
Yeah, true that. Very true.
Okay. Next one, domestic hire purchase. So here we're talking about things like TVs that you can pay for monthly.
Nonsense. Don't buy stuff on credit, guys. Crazy. We have got to understand how important debt is to the way we live our lives. Debt is the number one tool that is used to make money for institutions and organizations, and it's the number one thing that keeps us poor. So we need to basically not have bad quality debt. And any debt related to any type of finance is typically very expensive over longer terms. Just look at the APRs. There is very little good to come off it. If you want to be wealthy, make sure you can buy your stuff. And the debt you have is typically your mortgage, and even then you need to manage that super carefully.
Yeah. I would completely agree with you on the domestic hire purchase. Don't do it. And if you want something like a TV or washing machine, those kind of things, then make sure you use your own money to buy it.
100%. Keep going.
Okay. Mobile phone.
What about mobile phone?
So here we're talking about the new handset cost, because I think that's more of a discretionary spend here. So
oh my word.
When your contract expires and you've got the opportunity to get a new handset, what would you do?
So painful. If I've got a working handset, I'm going SIM only. That is just not even in question. SIM only, and I'm paying this, and I'm immediately lining that up, before the, kind of 30 days before the contract expires, and I'm saving that money. That is a real saving, easy to make.
Oh, completely agree on that. SIM only
Perfect.
is the way forward.
Keep going.
Okay, so the next one then is home maintenance.
Do it yourself.
Okay, so I was going to explain. Here we're talking about cleaners and gardeners and
Do it
window
yourself.
cleaners.
Oh my word.
I think this is probably the most simple one for me actually, which is in terms of you're paying somebody else to do a job that you could do yourself.
Exactly.
So you can save the money.
If it's simple, move on.
Okay. Holidays.
Don't go. Stay at home. I'm not joking. You're looking at me disapprovingly. I'm completely serious. Guys, if we want to make sure we are conditioning ourselves to be wealthy or to not be in debt, we need to think short-term pleasure, long-term gain. A holiday gives you the short-term buzz, but if you don't have the money, if you don't have it, you are sacrificing the long-term gain. So if you're trying to build either positive money habits, if you're trying to learn how to be wealthy, if you've got debt, stop looking for leisure in the short term.
Very clear.
Go on then, what else?
Okay, so I think the last one that I have on the list here is things like celebrations. So if you've got birthdays, anniversaries, that kind of thing.
Oh, that's a tough one. Look, I think that it's a funny one because there's so much, there is a lot of emotion attached. My personal view is don't buy any gifts and explain to the people that you know and love that you are on a bit of a mission of self-improvement, and you're not able to give gifts, but you're willing to you can give time.
I think that's the most important thing there, isn't it? It's actually, if these are your friends and your family, the thing that they probably most value is to spend their time with you.
100%. We know that great friendships and love and just togetherness is what it's all about. You don't need the material. You don't need the material goods. And the people who are rooting for you, they will not be expecting anything anyway. And they certainly, I don't think, will be disappointed if they don't receive anything, because they will appreciate and respect the mission that you're on.
Yeah. I think ultimately then they get to spend time with you, have a meal together. That's quality. 100%.
But look, in order to be wealthy, you've got to make decisions.
Yeah.
Having wealth and avoiding broke is a conscious choice you make about how you're going to run your life. And that includes choices you make about tough conversations. So if somebody's asking you for a gift, you've got to have the tough conversation. And that's what you do all the time. It's not all glamorous, but that's what you've got to do if you want to achieve anything in life. You've got to make those big calls.
You really have to be willing to make the tough conversations. And I would say what would sum up everything that we've really spoken about in this podcast is the trade-off. And
Absolutely.
I think it is the money that you're using, you could use for something else. But not only that, it's the short term versus the long term. And I think you explained it really well when you talk about the holidays, where you say you have this short term holiday which you do get enjoyment from, but then what does that do to your long term goals?
Absolutely. And if that was the last question, I think that's a perfect place to end. When we talk about discretionary and opportunities to be efficient, the minute you understand the trade-off and the minute you're willing to look and say, I am working really hard for the long term, all of this stuff just falls into line. It falls into place because you're empowering yourself to make those conscious decisions. And this is the stuff they don't teach you in schools. No. Because we don't understand about finance and credit and debt and depreciation and assets and liabilities. And that's why we've got the podcast. Because we're all about making sure we think long term, man.
Most definitely. And like Jermaine said, we really want to share all the stuff that we've learned.
100%. That's what it's all about. You find us on here, find us on YouTube. That's what we do.
Yep, our website, everywhere.
Everywhere. That's why I'm not sleeping. All right.
I think that's a really good place.
Cool.
To leave this then. So it has been great talking to you about this today, and we really hope you found it useful. Do subscribe to our channel if you are enjoying our content, and hit the bell button so that you know when we release a new video.
Definitely. And for anyone who's just listening on the podcast, please do come and find us on whichever social media channel suits you. Massively want to keep the engagement going. We want to hear about the kind of topics that are going to be of interest to you. Like we said, this is coming from one of our listeners, and we've got a lot more planned on this kind of content. But yeah, let us know. We're loving doing them. Hopefully you're loving listening to them. Yeah?
Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, look, great Sunday. We look forward to speaking to you next week.
Yeah. Enjoy your week, guys.
All right, take care, folks.
Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.